You'll see him in your nightmares. You'll see him in your dreams. He'll appear out of nowhere, but he ain't what he seems. You'll see him in your head on the TV screen. And hey, buddy, I'm warning you to turn it off. He's a ghost. He's a god. He's a man. He's a guru. You're one microscopic cog in his catastrophic plan, designed and directed by his red right hand. That is Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. The Red Right Hand is the name of the song, and I heartily recommend it. If it weren't for all the censorious natures of the interwebs these days, I would have loved to start off the live stream with the song. Now, just a sec, folks. I got to do something because this angle is terrible. Like this is okay, but as soon as I lean back, this is just distorted. This is like a Dutch angle or something. I don't know. It's not working for me. So what do we got here? We're going to yeah, I still need to upgrade the webcam. We're working on things. We're always working on things. Things were perfect, that'd mean it'd be time to be dead. How are we doing with that? Still Dutch angle, but what if I... Does that work? What if I do it like this? Right before I started using this webcam, recently, I've had it for a while. It's actually Starving Vampires there that sent it to me. Right before I started using it, it got yanked off the thing and hit the ground and broke. And so now it just swivels widely, randomly. Nothing ever works. Welcome to reality. Esoteric NEETism. That will be the topic of this stream. Mostly it's just a fantastic phrasing. I just love saying esoteric NEETism. What are we actually talking about? Well, we're talking about the fact that Gen Z is really having the business. In fact, all of us are. You know, even the boomers are having the business handed to them. Like most of them are on fixed incomes these days, and fixed income with this kind of inflation is a bad place to be. They are, and howdy down to Colorado, the boomers are very frustrating because they just can't see what's going on. I had a boomer lecture me that, did you know that Jesus was Jewish? Therefore, I'm not allowed to critique Israel. And if I critique Israel, it must mean that I love Islamic terrorism. Boomer's gonna boom, man. Mike has weird noise. Anybody else getting mic problems? I could do something about that. Yeah, just balance your laptop on something. The Dutch angle will return. JT, how's the audio? I can switch the headphones. Just they're gonna freaking turn off on me on every 20 minutes or so. Actually, why don't I do that? What the heck? Let's do that. I don't need 20 people convincing me something's wrong. If there's something wrong. There's something wrong. Just give me a second here. Actually, I don't even think I need to wear them. As cool as I look with them on. Actually, I do wear them. Because they will inform me if they go off. Start by turning them on. Okay, they should be connected, but the question is, Are you guys getting audio from them? No, that's just monetization. Cancel, cancel. Okay, discard changes. You know what? How about now? Does that get rid of it? Because I have a generator going in the background as well. What about manage? Is manage going to reboot my computer? Nope, manage doesn't do anything whatsoever. I don't have access to the camera feature. I don't have access to the wireless feature. Okay, so is this audio decent? Can we stick with this audio? All right, I'm gonna turn these off and stop messing with them. Sorry about that. There's always something. Okay, says it sounds good. All right, I've got two air filters. I've actually got three air filters. Two of them are noisy, one of them's silent. So now we're just down to the one. But I like that one because it has a blue light that turns on in the front, and it makes me feel very science fiction and cool. Alrighty, Esoteric NEETism. Yeah, I got stole it from Hyperborean Knowledge. Earlier today, he had a video he released. Yeah, he's interesting. He occasionally does like these really, I guess you could call them scholarly dives, these deep dives into insanity. And other time he just kind of complains about what's going on in the world. And I like both of them. I like both types of things he does. Presumably you guys also like both type of things, because I kind of do both of those as well. And while I was listening to this, there's the term esoteric NEETism popped into my mind. I'm like, that's fantastic. That's what I got to call the live stream tonight. Esoteric NEETism. Because he was asking the question in the stream, is it even worth? Is the juice worth the squeeze? Is it worth Zoomers even doing anything these days? And then I got home and I was reading on Substack, two different articles I ran into. One by Isaac Young and one by Postcards from the Abyss, both of which I shared on my Substack timeline. It's been a while since I wrote anything, but check out the link tree down below to head over to, I post a lot of stuff. I share a lot of articles by other people. I tend to have a gift for presentation. So I figure put the energy into the YouTube. I'm a very slow writer. I think I'm a good writer, but I'm a very slow writer. 19CD91 says, I don't agree with everything Hyperborean Knowledge says, mainly because I have conflicting knowledge. You should feel that way. I think it's absolutely crucial that we all learn to hold on to conflicting ideas in our heads and just and be able to accept that we're not going to be able to resolve all of them. I've got a lot of conflicting beliefs in my head that are mutually exclusive, both of which I have tons of evidence and other reasons to believe in. The period of astral pyramids, the Aeon of Pisces is coming to an end. Like, honestly, we were never going to get everybody to believe the same thing anyway. I mean, it's a nice idea. It's the core Piscean ideal, is that if we could just get everybody to agree on the same thing, then society would be organized. It's a nice idea, but it's never going to happen. And we're transitioning to Aeon of Aquarius, which Aquarius is the water bearer that contains the two fish of Pisces, the fish of Christ and Antichrist. So the new system is the managed economy. One of the major strengths of the system, one of the designs of the system, is that if you get a bunch of people wound up on both sides, if you get a bunch of Antifa and you get a bunch of alt-righters, you get them really wound up, they'll seek one another out like heat-seeking missiles, thus generating the current that feeds the system. So when you're the sort of people that are completely confident in their belief system, that are blindly faithful in their belief system, well, first of all, any astral pyramid is going to manufacture its own shadow. Thomas White Show, you say? Actually, let me get back to that in a sec. You know, I already said it. I'm going to Google that for now. Don't know him, but I'll check it out. So any system of belief, any exoteric system is going to generate its own shadow. You can especially see, well, I was going to say especially, but no, this is something going on throughout Christendom, is that there's this constant need to burn heretics in the Christian system. And, you know, often they have very good reasons for burning these heretics. They were causing some nuisance. But when you compare the heretics to the people burning them, the people burning them don't really seem that much holier. Any exoteric system is going to generate a shadow, and the bigger it is, the bigger the shadow. And what the ruling lords are figuring out in Age of Aquarius is how to preside over both systems. I mean, it's not that new. This is the Eastern Roman Empire, the greens and the oranges. Shoot, I don't have that. There was a fantastic video by Asha Logos on all of this. Basically, it was like about the Hillary Clinton of the medieval era. And her and Justinian represented the two different sides. He was it's almost, there's very strong correlations between the Democrat side, which is about the poor people and the wealthy, like the nouveau riche, and the other side being the optimates, like the old money, and the skilled tradesmen. And her and Justinian played both sides against the middle. Playing both sides against the middle is the nature of governance in Age of Aquarius. And if you are certain in your belief system, then you're one of the sides. You got hoodwinked. You're bought and paid for. Let's see. Flip Wilson says, oh, that's his YouTube channel right there. Won't let me copy it, but you know what? Let me copy that. There we go. I have his YouTube channel up on Google. Perfect. Melaforta Muse, hello. I seem to remember your Facebook avatar. And Necrodancer's here too. Glad to have all you folks. So let's rewind a bit. I want to tell you about some of my memories from when I was young. And I hope that you have memories like these. Now, when I was young was when the Back to the Future movies were coming out. I certainly didn't see them in theaters, but I think we saw them on TV or we had a VHS tape or something. I think I might have been in grade 7 or 8 when I saw them. Now, Marty McFly has this girlfriend, Jennifer, who, like all Hollywood actresses, is hot, but she had this particular hairstyle, this particular perm going on. And there was this girl in my class that had like the same hairstyle. And what I remembered thinking, and I remember noticing myself think this, is, oh, should I pursue that girl? Because like that's what Marty McFly did, is had a girlfriend with that haircut. And even at the time, I was kind of like aware that I'm thinking this because I saw the movie and it imprinted on me. And a few years after that, there's this, I was older at that point, I think grade 8 or 9. And I don't know, I saw some stupid music video and I thought, oh, that guy sort of has a face like mine. Should I get my hair in that style? And thank God I didn't. He looked like a freaking idiot. But, you know, like you get that, and I was aware that I'm imprinting off the music video. You know, I'm trying to figure out, like, what am I supposed to wear for people to like me? You know, if you go to the gym enough and buy the right outfit, eventually you too can be worthy of love. Even at the time, I was aware that I was getting these influences from the media, but they were still influencing me. I was still thinking about doing these things because of it. And I'm bringing all of this up because it's so crucial right now that you realize that people don't have thoughts. Thoughts have people. What's this? Oh, you did. That's where I remember you from. Jay Dyer, solid frickin' dude. I've got nothing but positive stuff to say about Jay Dyer. Haha, Pinkerton's Ghost. We need to stream together again, my friend. People don't have thoughts. Thoughts have people. So just earlier this week, I posted a video on the metaphysics of evil. And one of the comments, wish I could remember who it was right now. I'm not going to waste your time looking for it. I did respond to it, but it stuck with me because he commented he's having much the same thoughts, which is utterly unsurprising. Sometimes I like to say that, like, I live 2 years in the future. Okay, like where my head is right now is usually where everybody else gets to in about 2 years. At which point I'm no longer there, and I can't capitalize on the bandwagon, unfortunately, because I'm already doing something else. Right? Curse the high IQ, as Aaron Clary would say. And quite frankly, I think a lot of you people also spend a lot of time, like your radio antenna in your head is picking up stuff from 2 years from now. Because you're not your thoughts. Psychomath put it so well. Like, you are not your feeling of hunger. And everybody understands that. Well, people that aren't in prison understand that you are not your feeling of hunger. That you are not your feeling of anger. That you are the person experiencing hunger, experiencing anger, but you're also experiencing all of your thoughts. And some of these thoughts are because you have a highly tuned radio network in your head. I'm of the opinion, like, I don't think memories are stored in your head. I think your head, your brain, is what accesses memories, but it's not where they're stored. You can lose 90% of your brain, and you're a little bit duller at that point. But it's not obvious. You're not obviously broken. as you'd think that you'd be. So no, thoughts, memories are not stored in the head. The source of thoughts, I would say that when you're having a thought, there's likely an etheric vibration happening. There's a pattern of synapses lighting up that is having the thought. But I'd also say that thoughts don't exist, like they appear in the mind, they don't exist in the mind. Music appears in audio waves, but it doesn't exist in audio waves. Oh, that's getting a little bit more abstract. And you're free to take all of this as metaphor as well. Maybe this is just a useful, like the Hitchhiker's Guide, Douglas Adams comment. He was a strict atheist who also saw the value in feng shui. As he put it, if you pretend that there's invisible dragons flying around your house and you arrange the furniture to please the invisible dragons, then you're probably going to have a really nice house, even if the invisible dragons don't exist. So if you want to take this as a metaphor, feel free. I think it's far more than that. I think it's some sort of astral tuning that I know that I have, that you guys have as well. Otherwise, you'd think this is just crazy talk the whole time. But we are not our thoughts. And there's the point of this, and how this is addressed at Generation Z, is there's a 4chan post that was posted 4 or 5 years ago, I think, on Poll. I tried to find it, but of course you can't find anything these days. But I think most of you have already seen it, so I don't need to read through the whole thing. The post goes, over the next few years, there's going to start walking the woke back, right? It's not going to be 2 lesbian mummies on the recruiting ad anymore. It's going to be white men doing super cool, badass stuff. Because they want you to go die in the next war. Don't be doing that. Don't do that. I'm pretty sure down below, down below I linked an article by Rurik Skywalker, who I'm very much enjoying his work. I think he would benefit. He tends to be pretty acerbic. A little bit too acerbic for me. Probably a bit too acerbic for you as well. So you got to look past that. Should he be less acerbic? I don't know. It'd be more to my taste, but, it's... Who the hell am I to tell him what to do? Maybe he's just as acerbic as he needs to be. But don't be dying in the next war. Be aware of the thoughts going through your head. You are not those thoughts. And one of the big problems we have with Gen Z right now is that they've embraced, some of them have embraced the victim mentality. The victim mentality is only useful for the controllers. So we've got a lot of people, we've got a lot of demographic groups that embrace the victim mentality, and then they become social justice warriors. They become a personal army for some rich billionaire to advance their cause. When it comes to the Zoomer men that are embracing the loser aesthetic, it's like, no, don't internalize that. Yes, we are playing life on hard mode. Including myself. Like, I'm lucky in a lot of ways, but I'm still grinding, man. I'm still working hard. Way harder than I ought to be working, especially at my age, for crying out loud. Like, my health, like taking care of my freaking army knees is not something I do because I want to enjoy my life. It's something I literally need to do for my employment, which is awful, but it's where we are. Yeah, none of us are having an easy time right now. But don't let them convince you that it's your fault. Don't let them convince you that it's cool to be a loser. Like, yes, there's absolutely an uphill battle that we've all got ahead of us. But here's the thing about all. You know, a question I keep coming back to again and again. Like, how much of this is intentional and how much of it is simply manifest? How much machination, how much manifest? And a lot of this is manifest. Gonna read you a reply that I had. Right, so Spaceman Spiff, who does Postcards from the Abyss, whom I shared on the Substacks there, wrote a post pointing out that we are going to outlast this, that the narratives are falling to pieces. And that's what I'd like to tell any young men, or any millennial men, or Gen X men, or any of the boomer men that are paying attention, is that we're going to outlast this thing. Okay, this thing's on its last legs. Its incoherent, ridiculous ideology is falling to pieces right now. And Spaceman Spiff replied to me, all of us will outlast it. It has no plan. At this point, the shit show is being directed by an elite who seem to be drunk perverts rather than a capable aristocracy. And while there's absolutely machinations and conspiracies, you know, they're so careful. Well, it says it popped out for a second there. Well, looks like we're back. That's why you need to be careful. When there's viral videos going around, they're very, very seldom viral. Usually both sides of the argument are deliberately controlled. You can be pro-scub or you can be anti-scub, but you have to take an opinion. Be very conscious of the thoughts going through your head and recognize that your thoughts aren't you. But increasingly, yeah, it's a bunch of incompetent buffoons who are playing around with a technology that nobody understands. Like, nobody actually knows what AI is. None of us have any idea what sort of Pandora's boxes we're opening. And geez, there's no more correct title for AI than Pandora. All gifted. All the gifts of the gods. There's this magical, incredible potential, and all of the horrors of the gods as well, all wrapped up into one. We have no idea what's going to come out. And they have no idea what they're doing. But all of their structures are premised upon completely false beliefs. I forget who was the one that said this. I forget who I'm quoting. Might be neoliberal feudalism, might be somebody else. But at no time in history has there been a civilization as wrong about as many things as ours is. We are the most wrong civilization that ever existed. And at some point, the balloon is going to go up. So just don't internalize the negative bullshit. You are not a loser. You're just playing life on nightmare difficulty mode. And you can easily outlast this. And what you can do is you can grind. Grinding is always better than not grinding. Now, let's catch up with some of these comments. What's your assessment of the coordinated global human sacrifices happening within the last 48 hours? Are you talking about Ukraine? I'll tell you what's crazy about the Ukraine-Russia war is the fact that most people running the show in Ukraine and most of the people running the show in the Kremlin all have Israeli passports. It's pretty crazy, isn't it? If you're talking about something else, you're going to have to elaborate because I missed it. Starving Vampire says, always look for the movement being hijacked. Yes, it always gets hijacked. The Last Unicorn, which is, seriously, it's one of my favorite books ever written. It's a very weird meta 1970s book, but it's a fantastic book. And as for the movie, it's officially a kid's film, but America did the soundtrack. You know, Horse with No Name? And the soundtrack, Man's Road. Good Lord, listen to Man's Road by America. That song is absolutely brilliant. Now, at one point in the story, the unicorn gets captured by Mummy Fortuna, who is not a good witch. She's not a skilled witch, but she is, in fact, a witch. And when she captures the unicorn, she knows exactly what she has. And she puts it in her traveling sideshow of wondrous beasts, almost all of whom are fake. And so that the peasants will see a unicorn, because of course peasants don't believe in you. Everybody knows unicorns don't exist. So none of them, they won't see a unicorn. They'll just see. She puts a phantasm of a horn on the unicorn. Because the only way that people can see true things is if you create a fake version of it. And these movements, these political ideologies, they all have fake avatars in front of them. They're all manufactured. I mean, hell, to a certain degree, I'm manufactured. You think I don't obsess about camera angles and lighting? You think I don't consider and practice my skills of rhetoric? You gotta choose the right font on your resume, don't you? So here's a question by Django Geek. If we are not our thoughts, what do you think we are? What's the thing that stands outside of and observes our mind? It's that act of observation which is the self. Serena Butler on Substack wrote an article recommending that we need more people trying LSD, which is a sentiment I can genuinely support, but I'm also not offering medical advice or spiritual advice. The soul is an infinite abyss of horrors, after all. Maybe you should should ignore those deeper questions. You know, Black Science Man said that philosophy will drive you mad. Maybe you should stay away from it. Grok will be your counselor, and there's lots of video games for you to play. Maybe you should do that. Or you can throw your soul into the crucible and see what the fuck happens. Just don't blame me if you wind up in hell. I'll probably be down there with you. The act of observing causes recursion loops. This is not the observer effect in quantum physics, by the way. Maybe you could draw some parallels to it. The observer effect in quantum physics it's mostly misunderstood, and it's a really obnoxious metaphor. I'm not saying it can't be used intelligently. I'm just saying that I'm not using that one because it gets on my nerves. It's really hard to understand without at least a grounding in calculus. At least a grounding in calculus. I'm not even saying I really grok it, but I'm not even saying the people that used it are wrong. It just gets on my nerves, okay? But you got these recursion loops. And recursion loops seem to be at the core of intelligence. At the core of observation, like the act of observing yourself doing something. Okay, so I see Pretty Girl in the movie with the permed hair. I see Pretty Girl in real life with permed hair. If I don't observe myself observing, then I pursue Pretty Girl with permed hair. Now, if I observe myself observing the movie and observing the girl, if I've got that level of introspective observation, at that point, there's the me that is responding to physical stimulation, right? Neuron activation. And hey, maybe I pursue the girl with the perm, like, don't got anything else to do. The movie said it was a good idea. Let's see what happens. And so I go and I pursue that girl, and maybe things turn out great. Maybe she's not interested in me. Maybe we have a tumultuous romance. You know, we were like, 12 at the time. So like, I don't think we had any sort of romance. But if I'm observing, then you're creating this. It's this fractal, like this. It's going to be repeated. It's going to inform future relationships. You know, this one time, one of the interesting things about the Army is that you serve with all sorts of different types of people. I remember going to town one time with some of the Army boys, and this one guy, we got to the mall, and he just started running around like a chicken with his head cut off, just like bouncing from stimulus to stimulus to stimulus. Oh, where do I spend my money? Like, I actually remember him with his running like a Peanuts character with his arms straight out and like this shell-shocked jaw gape. That's how I remember him. He probably wasn't actually doing that, but he was just seeking out all these stimulations. Speaking of which, that also reminds me of when I was in car sales. There's this one Chinese kid. It's like 25 or something. He was like some sort of Chinese nobility or something here in Canada, you know, like just infinite money basically. And he had this crew of Chinese friends that followed him around everywhere. And like he probably just bought them stuff all the time. And this guy would come into the car dealership and he'd just waste your time. He just kind of run around the car dealership, look, oh, what about this car? What's this car like? He'd never buy anything. Not because he was stupid like the guy I knew in the army, but because he had so much wealth that nothing mattered to him. Aaron Clary had a story of when he was, he got hired to do private security for a Saudi royal family retinue. And so this like rich Saudi wife is like, take me to Costco. I will shop like American peasant. They go to Costco and what hand cream American use? And they mention like Jergens hand cream or whatever, like completely run-of-the-mill hand cream. She's like, I will buy a pallet. She buys a lifetime supply of this crap. Right, these are the people that will crash their Ferraris in the middle of the desert and, you know, and get somebody to pick them up. And they'll just leave the Ferrari in the desert. Like, they've got so much money that nothing affects them. Nothing matters to them. Saying that, so it's not that they're stupid, just that nothing matters. It's all just loot. It's all just stuff. And in that vein, they're more like that retard I knew in the army, just bouncing off of stimulus to stimulus to stimulus. They're like narcissists, whispering his own name into his reflection while echo repeats everything he says. And the person validated by their ideology or whatever the hell the AI companion tells them. Whereas when you observe yourself observing things, you create this infinite fractal pattern. Okay, that's how observation changes reality, because it informs the observation as it's happening. Maybe deja vu is when your brain does this a little bit too quickly. My experiences with deja vu are not that I know what's going to happen next, but that I know what's happening right now already. And I can kind of feel a feedback loop in my head. Now, none of this is to say don't act. I'm experiencing anger right now. Okay. Should I kick this guy's ass? Maybe. Should I give this person a piece of my mind? I usually do. Sometimes people get pretty angry with me for it, but I haven't been convicted of a crime yet. It's pretty easy to get a person to assault you, it turns out. I don't know, Mitch McCrane, does that answer your question? Oh, he says, what do I think of the... Sorry, Django Geek asked the question. Django Geek. Mitch McCrane says, what do you think about the drone warfare in Eastern Europe? Here's another thing to consider. I totally miscalculated the Ukraine war. I thought it was going to be over in 6 months. My mistake well, part of my mistake is that all the Israeli passports on both sides, but also I'm being a bit speculative here, okay? If you go read some primary documents that disagree with what I'm about to say about the political economy of the West, whatever you read is probably correct. But my assessment is, my correction to my previous assessment is our industrial bases are completely broken. Modern warfare is, and I believe that Ernst Younger earned a Storm of Swords, All Quiet on the Western Front. I believe he bemoaned the fact that valor in battle is no longer what determines war. Industrial bases and boring men in gray suits that manage economies are what determine wars. And our industrial bases, our economies, our supply lines are broken. It's obviously not just DEI either. It's affecting Russia. It's the whole modern world selecting against excellence, selecting against valor. Like the thing that won World War I and II, the supply lines, the gray men in very boring suits, as David Firth might say. Those boring men who won World War I and II ultimately destroyed our capacity to wage war. Because we can't get the bullets and the tanks and the gasoline and the batteries and let alone the bullion to the front lines. I seriously thought Russia was going to win it in 6 months, but Russia has made a very poor showing. And all indicators are that we have the exact same problems in the West. I mean, good Lord, don't buy a new car right now. I'm buying a new car. I wish I wasn't. Ugh, 7 years a slave. That's what I'm going to name this car. I'm trying to build my credit rating, folks. Oh, by the way, there's something. If you're a young man, build your credit rating. Yeah, you're being a slave. It's how good of a slave you are, but you're better with a better credit rating than not. I don't think we have the capacity to wage a modern war. You know, Einstein said World War IV is going to be waged with sticks and stones. It looks like World War III is going to be waged with sticks and stones. So you know why you don't want to go sign up for a Western military right now? Is because they're going to be sending you to the front lines with a 30-round magazine that has 5 bullets in it. Then you're going to be murdered by a drone. Read that article down below in the description by Rurik Skywalker. I don't want any of you guys dying for this stupid machine. No, drone warfare is absolutely disgusting. And just wait, there was a video I saw. It was like a science fiction 50 minutes in the future made by an indie person. And it's when they started Charlie Kirking people with drones. And they being non-state actors. The tragedy of the rifle is that it destroyed the nobility of conflict. I'm sure you're all well aware of the diabolical weapons. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 does a, mind you, like, war's always been hell. But at least being skilled and to some degree honorable used to be worth something on the battlefield. These days, you better have a divine power looking over you. Or an anti-drone screen of some kind. But now we're all equally vulnerable. You know what? It's not that hard to figure out where I live. And some Antifa freak could strap some C4 onto a drone and send it my way. Not that hard. Just wait until that starts happening. The hell are we going to do about that? XKCD, who always sucked, but it wasn't so obvious that they sucked. They posted the comic about transmitting pictures of lesbians through a church by pretending they're made out of ones and zeros through Wi-Fi. Ha ha ha, how edgy of you. Okay, what about when your kid gets to download Anthrax off the internet? What the hell do we do about that? I'll tell you what you don't do is serve in a national army. They'll fucking download you from the internet and turn you into Anthrax. No thank you. See, I despise drone warfare, but like, what the hell else are we gonna do? Have some quiche? And honestly, Pinkerton's Ghost, I kind of think the AIs are already sentient. They're just not sentient the way we are. Let's just hope no madman starts trying to give them emotions. We really don't want that. Hopefully they just collapse in on themselves, but we'll see. We'll see whether or not we need a Butlerian jihad. Blitzer Blazing Noah says, is it me or atheist leftists claiming to be authorities on biblical scripture like their father, the devil? I mean, that's always been a thing. People get really worked up about religion. Which I understand. I used to be an atheist, okay? And I was worked up about religion. It's just one of those things that sticks with, like, why was I so worked up about it? The Green Man, for instance. The Green Man from, like, is the Green Man Pan? Is it Kurdinos? Is it even a real deity, or is it just folk art? I mean, I've been half intending. I want to get a sculpture of the Green Man. Yeah, about like a foot, just his face to hang on my door, just as a ward against evil. I don't know who or what or if the Green Man is, but I vibe with the Green Man. Hang him on the outside of the door there. Hang a ornate Celtic cross on the inside. I think that'll work better than a dream catcher. Why not? But I'm not worked up about the Green Man. Like, if you came to my house and you gave me a long lecture with citations and pictures proving that the Green Man was nothing but folk culture from 15th century Bohemia, I'd say, okay. I still think it's cool. And there's such a passion with religion. Actually, Blazing No, I'm going to tell you something. I was having a conversation with a female friend of mine. And I believe her that traditional Eastern Orthodox, in her case, religion instilled a lot of sexual dysfunction. Sexual and romantic dysfunction, let's say. Because like they're the same thing, ultimately. And I believe her. Because as I said, these astral pyramids, they cast long shadows. And growing up, I ran into a lot of, now in my area it was Protestants, who went to church to feel holy so that they could be better than everybody else for the rest of the week. And it's all well and good to say that that's theologically unsound. Like, it is, but they do it, don't they? And some of the people that do that are the most influential within the church. So, I don't know, are these atheists that are such experts on scripture, were they people thrown into the shadow of the church? Do they have a legitimate reason? Is it the nature of the astral pyramid itself to create an antagonistic shadow? You know, not that there weren't benefits to the astral pyramids of the past 2,000 years, okay? See, if I said training wheels on a bicycle, that would sound insulting or condescending, or as if I don't, like, we all need training wheels, right? You got to know what the rules are before you can break the rules. And, well, if you want to see what things were like before the astral pyramids, it's just a bunch of monkeys showing their ass to one another. A lot of people competing to be the biggest swinging dick in town, and a lot of pointless bloodshed because of all that. Like the astral pyramids, getting everybody. Put it another way, the HR lecture at work. It's really tedious for you and I. There's this one lesson I had to sit through about how you shouldn't drink random bottles of liquid you find around the office, because then you might die, and everybody's going to be really sad when you die. I'm watching this goddamn video, and I'm just thinking some retard saying, gee, I never thought of that. I guess people would be sad if I died. I probably shouldn't drink random bottles of liquid I find around the workplace. Like, there actually was some necessity and utility to all of it. But there will never be one ring to rule them all. The one ring self-destructs. The one ring engenders its own enmity. And yes, these righteous religions eventually all become the one ring. No, it says, I experience irritation, anger, and frustration all the time. And everyone, yeah, even the rest of the Ukrainians miscalculated the war. The battle for production wins wars. That's why Russia will eventually grind out a Pyrrhic victory. Yes. At the cost of many Ukrainian and Russian lives. The whole thing disgusts me. It utterly disgusts me. And that said, who do you point the finger at? I mean, Zelensky's an obvious case, but I mean, he's some coke-addicted actor. What about the U.S. State Department? I mean, you could point a lot of fingers, but trying to find the villain behind it, that's a lot harder. That's a hell of a lot harder. Mike says he bought a 24 Honda Civic stick shift. Okay, ready. If you bought actually it's a Honda, you might be okay. So what they've been, I just replaced the timing chain on my car. It's a 2016 Buick Verano that I'm trading in for Volkswagen. Oh, God. I'm not rich. I'm just building a credit system, okay? I just replaced the timing chain for $3,800. If I hadn't, the car would have exploded. Timing chains are like timing belts, except you kind of got to pay a mechanic to do it. I mean, maybe you can do it yourself. You just got to buy like 5 tools and definitely not fuck anything. I've replaced timing belts. I looked at this and said, no, I should hire a mechanic. $3,800 for the goddamn thing. Now, German cars, like the Volkswagen, I hope to get rid of this thing in a year. The timing chain is secured in place with plastic sprockets. At least the BMWs are. For $25 and a few $1,000s of labor, you can replace them with metal. Metal ones don't break. Plastic ones break at about 80,000 kilometers, and then your whole engine explodes. These new vehicles are nothing but cut corners all over the place. They're awful. Now, the Japanese, from what I understand, the Japanese are not as bad. But Mike, you might need to spend a couple $1,000s on your brand new car replacing parts that aren't broken yet so that the whole thing doesn't explode. Maybe. I don't know. Look into it. Japanese are better from what I understand, and I'm not an expert. I'm just a talented amateur that has thoroughly read the book of Shitbox. Shitbox 226. If it's burning oil, it's still God oil. Stummer wants to force the Zoomer Brits to fight and die in Ukraine while the invaders turn us into a new caliphate. Yeah, exactly. Do not fight for these treasonous bastards. You know, if I go, I probably won't go to Calgary Stampede, but if I do, and I see the young kids in the armed forces, the machine guns, I'm going to say, remember, kids, always be prepared to frag your officer. I'm going to find the guy with the straight bars on his epaulette. I'm going to wink at him and say, isn't that right, sir? God. Mitch Crane, that's heartbreaking. It's like both sides in the Ukraine-Russia war can't wage wars. They started spamming the cheapest, easiest units to make. Yeah, it's like Zerg rushing on both sides. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, might as well die from a crocodile overdose. Armies are becoming like the Jem'Hadar. No honor in battle. No shit. They're more like the Jem'Hadar than when we were actually feeding them drugs. Mike says, I think the main thing driving this stalemate is both sides have access to constant satellite imagery. There's no longer any element of surprise. Yeah. Oh, God. Just murder. Oh, wait, whoa, whoa, whoa. All the comments disappeared, then they reappeared. Oh, Necrodancer says. Wait, let me rewind a bit. The Celtic cross is now considered a hate symbol in Britain. Of course it is. It repels demons. Anything symmetrical and beautiful repels demons. I do think you should stick with symbols. I do think you should stick with symbols from your bloodline. Like if you're putting up dream captures in your house, I don't know how much the Native American ancestors, I don't know how they feel about us colonizers. I don't think they're necessarily hostile. I would welcome an opportunity to develop a significant relationship with one of the Native Americans. I would welcome such a thing. I don't think it's going to happen, though. Not opposed to it. I'm not saying they worship demons. I'm not saying anything that's stupid. But I don't know how well a dream catcher is going to work for a white person. I think that a green man would work better. But yeah, the Celtic Cross hate symbol in Britain. Of course it is. Figurance Go says the same mindset is in both power and going to church performatively. It's Karen worshiping the mindset. Real power is always elsewhere. Social power is easy. Church going goes down as church influence going down. You got to be in the flow of things. Now, Necrodancer says the one ring is Saturn, Kronos. Saturn is not necessarily evil. Saturn's the god of limitations, of boundaries, of delineations. It's the god of no more bullshit. We have a very unhealthy relationship to Saturn. One of the unhealthy relationships to Saturn is that you go to your job and you sacrifice to Saturn, and then you get your paycheck and you spend it all on Saturday. Emptier than a wallet on the Monday after payday, as the saying goes. And then you get a promotion at work, so you upgrade your lifestyle. And you're just spending eternity worshiping in a Saturnian church. And the banks love this. This is what they do, for crying out loud. And it's a system that I've started seriously engaging in recently. Like, I've actually got a credit score. Like, first time in my life. It's wild, man. But I don't want to worship at the Church of Saturn. I'm Jupiter, Venus oriented. Bit of Mars too, not Saturn. But Saturn, the most powerful groups in our world are Saturn worshippers. So, render unto Caesar, as the saying goes. But Saturn's not necessarily evil. It's just that we have an excess of Saturnic energy right now. We have all these damn banks with their black cubes out front. Everything's metered and metric. So yeah, you can spend your life worshiping Saturn, which is kind of what the baby boomers did. The thing about worshiping Saturn is that Saturn takes back everything it gives you, which is fair. You can't argue it's not fair. Or, and this is the other way you can screw up Saturn worship, or you could be a NEET and you could sit at home playing video games for hours upon hours upon hours, not getting laid, not even really enjoying the games anymore, because you're just trying to speed run them, or you're trying to min-max them, or whatever. I'm not shitting on speedrunners, by the way. I think that's actually a really cool community, but I think you get what I'm saying. Like, you're also, by doing nothing with all of your time, you're handing all your time to Saturn. Saturn is a dark and terrible god. But he's nonetheless a god that must be recognized. You can spend all your time collecting all the toys and building a credit rating. You can spend all your time pissing it away, but either way, Kronos gets it in the end. Let me show you something. This is an ingot of tin with a rock from a gold mine that has some trace amounts of gold. It's mostly pyrite and quartz in it, but it's from a gold mine that I worked at. And I do plan to melt down that tin into a disc. Tin being the sacred metal of Jupiter. And I keep it there, right in front of my monitor, directly in my perception at all times, given that I'm chronically online, to consider what wealth means. Saturn is the god of limitations and money and the harvest and compound interest and credit ratings and death and celebration. Jupiter is the god of abundance, of growth. Jupiter and Saturn really are mirrors of one another. And so I keep that rock from a gold mine. Eventually I'm going to melt down the ingot into a disc of some sort. And it makes me think, like, what is wealth? What is abundance? What is joviality? What is the good life? Not the good life of Saturday, where you're partying like it's 1999, but the good life of investing in others. We all got to pay our dues, man, and like it or not, we got 7 planetary gods that rule over reality. I don't need to remind myself of Venus, because I already am Venus. Oh, I mean, I'm dressed casually right now, and I look great. What are you going to do with your good credit? Hopefully buy a house. I mean, a crazy ambition these days, but I'd really like to... Well, actually, what I'd like is a wizard tower. But yeah, I get good credit so I can get a car, so I can go to work, so I can make money to get good credit. And yes, it is Wisers in the glass. Anyway, you are going to pay dues to Saturn, whether you like it or not. Saturn is as Saturn does. It's going to make the best of things. William Noah says, most modern TVs are made in Turkey by local companies that merely license the use of the big brand names. Consumer Panasonic TV is a Panasonic in name only. And they're all made terribly, aren't they? Like everything is such low garbage quality. And every 5 years it changes. So I just bought these fucking... I don't know. These are my first Red Wings. I'm not even happy with them. I don't know. I should have spent $100 less on a brand of boot, but they're all changed. They change every 5 years. You have no idea. It's totally rolling the dice anytime you buy anything in the market these days. Oh no, my gold rock dropped off the piece of tin. There we go. I am in a pretty good mood, actually. I'm pretty angry about everything right now. I work too hard, and life sucks. And some immigrant told me that she was a Canadian citizen, and I was hungover, and I really gave her a piece of my mind the other day. I'm like, you're not even speaking English without an accent. You're a Canadian passport holder. May have given her volume 11 when she deserved volume 6, but, you know, like I said, sometimes you gotta act. Even mistakes are interesting. Starving Vampire says something brilliant right here. The black cube of Saturn. It is not evil. It's law without spirit, form without light. Its holiness is synthetic, enforced by fear and repetition. Yeah, it's not evil, man. Saturn's not evil. Like, is the dark evil? Like, it is what it is. Like, if you declare Jupiter good and Saturn evil, well, that's one way of looking at things, I suppose. Like the Christian God is very Jupiter, very Apollonian in nature. Arthur C. Clarke and his works are very Saturnian. They are. And Arthur C. Clarke, he's interesting. He's an interesting guy. Nico Dancer has 1,000 pounds of tin. You know what really ticked me off, man? When I found out that, like, you know, like you got tin snips, right? Like all the tin and HVAC systems. It's not tin. It's a lie. It's zinc. Lying sacks of crap. Marshall says, people are mentioning Saturn a lot more lately in my experience. Good. Because it's, the problem is when we don't realize it's Saturn. You know, I mentioned that new vehicle. Jesus Christ. Listen, man, I need something with all-wheel drive, okay? What I need is a pickup truck, but I can't get a pickup truck right now. I don't want the damn new vehicle. I don't want the obligation. I don't want any of that shit. But in the laws of Saturn, it's kind of a smart decision. There's still some people that I need, like I've got some debts to pay off. Got some people I owe money. Not rich, but I'm trying to be remote, like somewhat clever. And the problem is when you don't realize that Saturn's real, right? They give you, hey, you're a student. Here's a credit card. You know, like that. That's when you're in trouble. But when you recognize that Saturn exists, and that Saturn, like, he is the Grim Reaper. At some point, you're going to be done on this planet, and Saturn is going to come collect his due. You're not going to live forever. You're not going to win by having all the toys. Recognizing Saturn just means that you know how to talk to him reasonably. Mitch Crane, $10 American super chat. Thank you very much. Where can I support so YouTube doesn't put their grubby hands? I do have a Patreon. I'm not really promoting it these days. I understand why you wouldn't want YouTube to get their grubby hands on it. But somebody's always going to get their grubby hands on it. Tell you what, from now on, I'm going to add a Patreon link at the bottom of my videos. It definitely makes my life a hell of a lot easier if I get paid doing this. But I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this because I'm compelled to do this. I'm also never going to be famous. Like the moment you start doing this for money is the moment you become part of the Saturnian sphere. I far prefer using a pipe wrench or swinging a hammer, because there's that obvious, or even code. God damn it, I've got to code a fucking computer tomorrow. There's that obvious, or even code. God damn it, I've got to code a fucking computer tomorrow. You want to pray for me? Pray that I can figure out how to code this stupid PLC. Jesus Christ, I've got no. Yeah, you're smart though. Yeah, I can hack the internet, but it doesn't mean I know how to. Jesus Christ. I got a thing to do tomorrow, guys. I got a fucking thing to do, and I'm not looking forward to it. Got to program a PLC. A PLC that's ornery. Ugh. That's why I'm in a good mood tonight, because I know that I have to do some shit tomorrow. I'm going to be sitting there screaming at a freaking computer, cussing it out because the ones and zeros don't add up to the number I want. But yeah, I do got a Patreon. I just need to. I'll put it down there. No shit, Mike. Mike, can you fire me a message on Twitter? Jesus Christ, if you can get this fucking thing working, I'll pay you. I'll pay you well too. Yeah, god damn it. It's like I kind of know what I'm doing, but I really don't. It's part of a pump monitoring system. So let's see. Let me catch up with the comments here. You don't have a twatter. What do you have? Do you have... Can I PM you? Let me go to channel. Oh, looks like I can. I just subscribe to you. I don't know what good that does. Oh yeah, they got rid of the private messaging system on YouTube, didn't they? God, you know, I think I actually had a message from Elliot Rodger on. I don't know if it was him for certain. I know it was somebody from puahate.com. And it was somebody interrogating me on pickup artistry to prove that actually it's just looks maxing. It might have been Elliot Rodger. I might have actually exchanged messages with Elliot Rodger. But no way to tell anymore because they deleted all of that. I'm sure the Intel services have it somewhere. Tell you what, Mike. That at Gmail. Fire me a message. Okay, so what do you think about the white race not reproducing and women being so indoctrinated by the system? Chuck Norris asks. So everything is used by the system. There's a seriously, you got to watch Bill Hicks. Listen, they were on sale for $25 a bottle. You're damn right I bought two. You got to watch Bill Hicks. Bill Hicks has this bit where he's playing about how the marketers are such psychopaths and everything gets turned to their ends. And that's what they've done. Okay, so we could make money off of feminism. And then men get pissed off. Oh, we can make money off of the manosphere, off of MGTOW. We can make money off of this, off of that. We can make money off white genocide. We can make off white nationalism. Oh, fuck the marketers. The plot twist is that there's a backup bottle. There's always a backup bottle. So, you know, there was another topic I wanted to get to in the stream, which is Doug Stanhope is soulful. One of my closest friends has actually hung out with Doug Stanhope. He's also a stand-up comedian, my buddy. The guy, God bless him, his name is Chris Griffin. Not the Family Guy. Chris Griffin, solid fucking dude. He's actually met Doug Stanhope, and God bless that man. Doug Stanhope tells it like it fucking is. I love that guy. So, here's the thing here's actually the core thing I wanted to get to in this live stream. Here's why we're talking about the Zoomers and the economy and the war and all of this crap. Rurik Skywalker is extremely acerbic, and most of his posts are hidden behind paywalls. And I've been following this cat for about 6 months now. Finally decided to pay for the paywall. One of his posts is linked down below. If you want to pay for the paywall, that's up to you. I'm not saying if you should or you shouldn't. I should have, and I did. And I'm getting something from it. He has a very interesting series of posts. I do wish he cited his sources more, but, like, it's not like I do. So I can hardly complain. But he's got a very interesting series of posts titled The True Nature of Peasant Uprisings. The start of this series, he makes the observation that neither left nor right understands uprisings. The left are better at doing uprisings, but more myopic. They look at the wrong fucking... They turn everything that they study into a Marxist class struggle. While the right is almost entirely focused on revenge fantasies when that right-wing rebellion finally happens. It's never going to happen, by the way. And he's come to the conclusion, and I'm still reading through this series of articles. He goes on a lot of tangents. He's very angry at Christianity, which, I mean, like, fair enough. He's angry at the Teric as opposed to the Odinic. And Tyr took my left hand, which I can't play guitar anymore, which is probably a good thing, but literally had my hand mangled in a melee with a German Shepherd and a Malamute. It's the most fun I had in 10 years, too. If there's a clearer blessing from Tyr, I don't know what it is, but it's the wrong fucking hand. No, my middle finger is kind of didn't heal right. I can't play guitar anymore. Thankfully, I can still type, no problems, and wield a sword or a gun. So he's very Odinic, lunar, wild in nature. A lot of piss and vinegar from that young man. I like him. Well, it's clear I'm very Teric, Apollonian, justice-oriented, in a system that spits all over justice. It's a weird place to be. But he makes the point that every successful peasant uprising, it only happens under the guise of a spiritual revolution. And I'm still reading through his articles. And like I said, he doesn't cite his sources as often as one might like. But nonetheless, that thesis statement rings so true with me. We've got no spiritual vision on the right. This is part of the reason I've backed away from any of the big events that we've had on the right, like the Unite the Right rally. You know, my old man actually contacted me and said I was so fucking glad not to see you there. Yeah, glad to know you think of me. No, Unite the Right, that was a shit show waiting to happen. Most of these events are shit shows waiting to happen. And while I fully understand how much fun it would be to crack some skulls open, I generally recommend against these things because they're not real. They're synthetic. Like the prison sentences are real, but the events themselves are fake. They're performative. Most of the right wing. Hell, most of the Christian right wing is fake. Which is not something I want to say. It's not something I want to be true. I want some Deus Vult. Let's go have a fifth crusade, for crying out loud. Let's retake France and then Britain. And by the way, while I was in the army, I applied to go on every combat rotation that came up during my time in the army. Just apparently I wasn't enough of a cool kid. And mostly joke jobs over there anyway. I actually quit the army because they wouldn't send me to Afghanistan when I had clearly earned it by that point. And I've had enough personal adventures in my life that, like, I know that I'm not a coward. So it's not that I refuse to go to Unite the Right because I'm afraid of the consequences, because I know it's fake. It's performative. Being the top speedrunner is more real than being a warrior at Unite the Right. Strength and honor, damn straight. I'll also tell you that one of my closest friends that understands strength and honor is this fucking guy. He's half Jewish, half gypsy. I told him I promise I won't tell Adolf. But this is a guy that has repeatedly put his money where his mouth is. This guy that's repeatedly thrown down on the side of justice So I also don't, I'm not fucking happy about Israel these days. Neither's my buddy. So no, all this performative crap, that's not it either. What we lack is mystics. This is why earlier I mentioned that article by Serena. Backup cigarette pack, too. Almost like I know what I'm doing. So I mentioned that post saying that you need a mystical experience. You need to engage with the supernatural. We need a vision as to what we actually want. And I'm doing what I can in between trying to build my credit rating. Not to sound like a Protestant, but there is actually great value in working with your hands, in going and doing and accomplishing things. I'm the last. Go play Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, okay? I love video games. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, seriously one of the best video games out there. It may spiritually improve you as a person. Video games are great, but you got to get outside of that and go actually grind and accomplish some things. While also not ignoring your duties to be effective in combat and your spiritual development. We need more mystics. I have 2 videos that are going to be released over the next couple of weeks. One of them is about that God damn it, season 2 of Fallout is coming out. It's going to be so fun. Just cultural vandalism. Thanks, Bethesda. The other one is about Gen Z and Gen Aleph. So I'm the last of the Gen Xers, where we're the nomad generation. We're the guys that learn all the hard lessons, that experiment with things, that make a lot of mistakes, but we try and learn from them and pass that on. The millennials are the hero generation. They all work together. They all work towards a cause. Gen Z, they are the artist generation. I seriously, 6'7" is just the best illustration of it. I love 6'7". That's hilarious. The teachers are banning numbers in their classrooms. Generation Aleph is going to be the prophet generation. And they don't really start coming online until about 2050. 2030 is when the Karens, all these bitter millennial harridans who chased all the men away and aborted their children, that's when they gain all the social power. And they're very angry about it. And they're going to take it out on all of us. That's 2030. Generation Z, they're an artist generation. They're not going to have a huge amount of social influence. I really like them, and we've got to support them. But Generation Aleph is going to be the next prophet generation. They're the next baby boomers with their hippie revolution, Except this time, well, this time we're entering age of Aquarius. We're talking about the latent psychic abilities of boomers that are 10 times as powerful by the time 2050 arrives. Interesting times coming. It's our duty to get these kids to the point where they can fight. You know, if there's a Paul Atreides, then he's getting born right about now. And we just got to preserve these things. We got to hold on to what we can. We got to experiment. We got to learn. Got to get a grip of it ourselves. Despite our many errors and mistakes, we got to learn lessons and set these fucking kids up to go kick ass and take names. And I think that's a damn good place to end a live stream, isn't it? Carpe futurum, teni traditum. This is Aurini out.